product development has to do with um, you it circles around product development. I'll call it software development, where we it's like building a digital. It's a process of like after design process where coding comes into place, um, testing comes into place. Oh, before testing, coding comes into place. Pre-testing comes into place where you are as developers, your front end and back end, are converting the designs to code so that users can use it, because your users cannot use whatever you have designed as a product designer. So they have to convert it to codes. They have to convert, if it is like a development can be divided into two. There's like the web development and there's the app development. I mean, there might be other divisions of development, but these are the two main. There's the web one and there's the product one. So if it's a product, there's the app one. Sorry. So if it's an app, you there are different software that your products, your software development developers use. And if it is web, there are softwares used. So there's the likes of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and more and more and more. For app, there's Flutter, there is React Native, and there's Python for the backend engineers. And like I mentioned, I don't want us to go in there. So from once you are done with your development, then you go to your user testing, where developers are pushing to staging. So there can be two different types of testing. There's the in-house testing, and there's the outside testing, where in-house testing is where the whole team are testing the products, and outside testing is where you have like a specific number of people, inviting them to test a demo of the product. Then you push to deployment. Deployment is when it's all live for all users to use. Then you go into review. Review has to do with customers dropping their feedbacks, and they're dropping their updates, and they're dropping their requests for potential feature updates on that specific product. And then from then you go into iteration and reiteration. I mean, they drop their updates, then you go back to your team, you go back to the lab, to the laboratory, you work on corrections on those updates that your customers have given you, and you keep iterating and reiterating and iterating and reiterating. All right, so one of I mentioned earlier about explaining your ideas clearly. So when it comes to explaining your ideas clearly, you need specific tools. And I already explained one of the tools you need is one of the skills you need is your ability to write product requirements documents. What are the tools you use to write product requirements documents? Anything that has to do with you writing, like MS Word, Google Docs. I use Google Docs mainly. And the likes and the likes. Tools that help you to write, definitely. So secondly, when it comes to explaining your ideas clearly, it has to be with you managing your tools and also breaking down complex problems. So one important tool you need is Jira. Now, what is Jira? Jira is like an organization. It's like a super organized task manager for teams. It is a tool that you as a product manager should be able to use to plan, to track, and to manage projects. So when you think about you are tracking tasks and bugs, you can see my screen now. You can see the different tasks there. As a customer, I want to be able to add my credit card information so I can pay for items. I want to be able to review my account history. So different to-do lists that are delegated to people on the team. I mean, your product designer has their tasks, your software engineer has tasks, your backend engineer has tasks. For you to be able to track and collaborate with them, you need organizational tools. One of them is Jira. The other ones, if you do not like Jira because it may look complicated as a product manager, you can dive into Asana, or you can dive into ClickUp, or there are more and more and more tools. There's Trello too. So you can dive into more easier, but this is what Jira seems to be one of the best, and it's one I've been using for like 2 or 3 years right now. There are two different types of boards you may want to use as a product manager. If you can see here, you can see this is a sprint board. Sprint boards are actually used to execute short-term projects. I mean, you are trying to build one feature, so use like a sprint board. And sprint boards are common on Scrum. Like I mentioned, there are two different sections. There is the Kanban board and the Scrum. Under Scrum is sprints. So this is an example of a Scrum board. I don't want us to like go too much details because of our time, but you as a product manager, you need to be able to um, design or build a Scrum board in order to manage your team. So you need to write that down or build a Kanban board. Kanban boards are used for long-term projects. So if you are building like big features or big, definitely you need Kanban boards. But you are building short-term projects like we are trying to work on the login screen this week. That's a very short-term feature, login screen. But we are trying to build, would I call it? We are trying to switch from web development into app development, into app phase. That's like a long-term project. So there's a difference between you switching from your product being a website to an app. That looks very long. It looks like a long process. Are you working on the login screen? That's a short process. Short process like that deserve um, sprints, and sprints are use scrum boards. Long-term projects deserve Kanban, so you do long-term projects. So you as a product manager, when you are now intertwining or you are working alongside other people on the team, like I mentioned earlier, you are the Spider-Man of the team. You are the soul of the project. You are working with the content creator. You are working with the support team. You are working with the review team. You are working with the CEO. You are working with the design team, and also you are working with your own management team. You may actually need other softwares. I mean, ClickUp is the best when it comes to managing other teams too, because they have their own department. But when it comes to your own personal management skills, you need Jira. You need Jira. Or if you don't want to use Jira, I already mentioned others that you may not need. You may want to dive into. All right. So also, it's an important skill of you as a product manager is you being able to understand user needs and foster team dynamics. This is where UX courses come into place. You need to, as also a product designer, so you need UX courses, user experience courses. And I already explained a brief of what is needed in UX courses. I already explained you should be able to draft out interview questions. This was an interview question that I drafted out. There are more to it. I drafted out when I was creating for that Piggy Stash, which is a child saving bank. What do you think about saving money? Do you have any tips about how to save money efficiently? And the likes and the likes and the likes. Also, you need to be able to, when you're talking about UX courses also teaches you how to build user persona. So when it comes to what a user persona is more of like a snapshot of or your ideal like user. It's like a fictional character in your head that represents your target audience based on the research and data you have gotten. I was saying earlier that I got data from children. So the data I got from children, like using my Google Forms, will help me in creating personas. So your personas kind of include like name, age, job, goals, challenges, and the behavior. So user personas kind of help designers to and teams to focus on the users and make informed decisions and create products that resonate. Another example of a user persona is this, which is talking about like the mom, understanding like the products we were about to build, which was Piggy Stash. And it's made us realize that not only do children need the app, adults also need the app to help their children to teach their children how to save. This is an example of a user journey map that I already explained earlier that you should be able to create user journey maps as a product manager and also a product designer. All right, before we go into questions, we have our time fast spent. Um, one of of the last skills, but not the least skills, is your business sense as a product manager. You need to be able to um, generate revenue for the products. So for you to be able to generate revenue for the products, you need to work on revenue models. What are revenue models? They are, you may in your mind think that, oh, this product needs this specific feature, but you should be able to focus on the specific features that work for you. Not only work for you, work for the customers. They may not actually also work for you and you think that they are the right ones, but as long as they work for the customers, they work for the consumers, and they are generating revenue, the end goal of this of existing products is to make money. Secondly, cost and trade-offs. I already mentioned that when it comes to skill and preferences, market competition, knowing. I mean, we can see what's going on right now between seller and main stack, where they are kind of competing and they are training on um, they are competing on who is the best. in the game and they are trending on Twitter right now. It's kind of a short gist, but Seller is trying as much as possible to show that they are a very big competitors of Mainstack, and Mainstack are not taking it easy on them, and there has been like a short back and forth on online right now. So yeah, market competitions are very, very important. They keep your brand alive. So your ability to be able to know what your competitors have, and if implementing them on your own platform and making it better is a very, very good skill. You need to be in the market. Fourthly, product managers build products that make sense. I think that says it all. They make sense financially. All right. So common myths of product managers is that product managers are the CEO of the product. When I talk about them being the CEO of the product, you are not the CEO of the product. Sorry to say. A CEO is known as the face of the brand. They are known to attend meetings with potential investors and the likes and the likes. You are known as the soul of the brand. You are the organ. You are the heartbeat of the product. You should be in charge of what goes on inside. You should be in charge of how your product survives in the market. So you are not the CEO. Because I have noticed that many product managers tend to take over the CEO. They have this CEO energy and they're like, oh, since I'm not building the product, I need to be out. I don't think so. You do not need to be out there. The CEO needs to be out there. The CEO needs to be doing the handshaking. All right. So, secondly, product managers must know how to code. No, it's not necessary. You can learn coding, you can learn front end or back end. It's fine. But you need to understand, product managers need to understand product design a lot more than you think you need to understand coding. So as a product manager, I would advise you to go and take a product design internship or a product design course too. There are so many. Once you visit www.interns.ng, here at interns.ng, we have so many internships for you. You can do the research and check out product management internship opportunities or product design internship opportunities that would enhance your skills, definitely. So if you want to grow better, you can check on our website, visit our website for internship opportunities for you. Thirdly, we have like product managers only write documents. Not only that you are writing product requirement documents, um, you are also collaborating with stakeholders. You are also intertwining with the product designers on what the users, what the customers may like and what the customers may not like. Product managers have all the answers. No, you do not. You do not have all the answers. You do not have all the answers at all. You should be able to collaborate with people and ask so many questions on what you think is not being fine for you. So, as a product designer, what skills do you think you need to have? You need to have the same skills as a product manager, yes. You also need to be able to pay attention to details when it comes to design, and you need to be able to what's the word? Be a very good executioner. When it comes to being a very good executioner, executor, you push out your ideas out there. It is tested. The product manager comes back with feedbacks from customers. Then you review the feedbacks. You work on it again. You iterate and reiterate. Then you push something else out again. Then you iterate and reiterate. Then you push it out. I mean, it keeps going like that and like that, like that. In order to save time for questions, I would not want to waste much of our time. It's 7:13 already. So what makes you a great product designer and a good product manager? Strong judgment, curiosity, accountability. Most of them have been explained in the class. Bias for action and continuous learning. Continuous learning is the best out of here. Everything is important, but you as a product manager and you as a product designer, I want everybody to just know that you are going to fail and you are going to make lots and lots of mistakes. But it's through that mistakes you will try to learn, and customers are going to be very, very angry. Not all, but yes, expect that. Users are going to say they do not like specific things, and through their takes and their feedbacks, we grow and we build our products into universal and worldwide taste. All right, so product management is not only about titles or tools. It's not about your name and tagging your product management to your name. And also, it's not about you can use 25 different tools. It's also about solving real problems. It's also about creating value, and it's also about making smart trade-offs. Um, Thank you very much.